helpful tips. Again, comments history, a couple of different, 3 different places where you can put notes about the student. And if you have the CRM module, you can actually log entries into the CRM module with, I believe, Alt F12, the Alt and the F12 key. The special needs note, let me get back to that. The special needs note, anything in special needs pops up on the screen. And again, the idea here is if I'm going to find Havlicek now, this is a special needs note, quite hard of hearing. So the point is, if there's a need for you to let other staff know about a student's special needs, you can put it in here and it'll automatically pop up. And as Lori noted on the slide, you can make the comments also a pop-up by entering an exclamation point as the first character of this text, which gives you 2 pop-ups, which is really kind of not overkill. It depends on your needs. All right, cloning a name. Great feature, especially if you're entering multiple people, same address, from either a firm or a family group. And what you do is you find the name that you want to clone, or if you're adding a name record, the last name that you added or edited is automatically stored to, if you would, the to-be-cloned database, or to-be-cloned. It's like a clipboard. It stores the last name address to the clipboard. So to make a second one, you add a blank name record and do paste address. And real quickly, let's go in. We have Charles Havlicek. Let's change the sort. Oh, this is one we didn't talk about, Lori. It's not a slide, but note, you as a user can change the sort order in terms of going forward and backwards. Right now, it's last name, first name. So go Havlicek, next Jameson, back to Havlicek with the pop-up, back to Harris, into Havlicek with the pop-up. So if I edit this person's record, I'm going to say Junior, I've made an edit change. If I hit Add now, notice I'm not hitting Save, it will have saved that change. If I'm entering my spouse, Barbara, and now I go to Edit, Paste Name, it'll automatically paste every bit of data from last name on from the previous record, the one I just edited, into this record. And of course, the email does clone, so you need to put in the name of the email of the person that belongs to. But it is a wonderful way to quickly enter multiple family members once you get that first record entered. Now you can also use it if you're editing names. Let me change the sort. We were talking about the sort. So if I've got somebody from Acme, let's find somebody else, Lewiston High School. So if for some reason the Lewiston High School address changes, and I say, whoop, that address has changed, P.O. Box 999, and I save that, if I change the sort order to firm, now when I go next, I'm at the next Lewiston High School, I can clone, paste that now, paste the address, and it says, if you continue, yes, it will paste over that old address. Special button. One of the new things on the special button, which has been around for a while, we've had contact history, make a call back, the F5 search, make instructor. There is a new option for being able to take a person record and add them to the instructor table. So you don't have to manually edit or remember the F1 keys Alt combo to do that. The contact history, and let me get to that. So at this point, we're creating a new record. At this point, we have no notes on this record. If we wanted to make a contact history note, pressing the contact history puts in today's date, your username, and then what the note is. A note about Josephine. And so you can save that, and then that becomes part of this person's record. But anyway, that is what the, the notes allow you to do. And we talked about callback, putting in a callback date, instructor record. We've covered that. Great tool for you. Callbacks. And again, where do you do that? It's done on the lower right of the screen. And again, we showed you when we launched the system how that works. Clinton was one that I think we had a callback for. So we put in a callback. If you're a manager, you can actually assign staff. These IDs are the user names of the different users that would be in your system. So at Star Shop, there might be Anthony, or might be Star herself, the other people who are in the system, and you can assign that to somebody else. So Rosie would be instructed to call this person back on that date, and then you'd put in to the comments or the contact history what you want Rosie to do when that name pops up on the list. The special button is the one that'll automatically put a callback date in. Now, by default, it's 10 days from today, but it puts your name, if you're the user logged in, and a day 10 days in advance, and you can, of course, edit that. If you know, I want that to be tomorrow, so we're going to put the 15th, and that'll come up tomorrow in the callback list for me. All right, callback. Again, you have that ability in faculty and also like a tickler or reminder for courses. Alt-3, this is really handy. If you are trying, if you're working with the database and you're saying, I need to write a letter to Bill Clinton. And rather, now he's got a fairly simple address here. But if we do Alt and the number 3, open up a document here. Let's see if I can open up a doc real quick, Word. And now I paste, I can paste in the address, phone number, and email of that record in Manager into any document that I've got. So again, quite useful tool. Email, quick email. With the email module, which new versions have, older customers, again, you may or may not have purchased the email module, but by double-clicking on the email record on the name, it brings you to an email launcher where you can send an email out directly from Student Manager. Again, if you have a person with multiple emails, they might want to use their professional and maybe their Gmail address. They want to get it in both places. And again, it depends a little bit on what email server you're using, whether it's a comma or a semicolon. Lori, it kind of depends on the email server. But you can put multiple addresses for a student in that address, in that email field. So if I double-click on Bill at AOL, this brings up the email launcher. I'm not going to send anything to Bill at this time. All right, email launcher, name grouping. This is a kind of a cool feature. Again, when you're doing a family group and you want to know that everybody from a particular family is related together, all of these Smiths happen to be in the same family group, you can use the grouping button, which is right here, and it will bring up the user that you're on, and you can click the Add button and add connections. It's kind of like, I suppose, what, the 8 Verizon Friends and Family, or like your cell phone family plans. You can decide who's part of this group. But there is a report under mailing labels called Name Grouping Combine that if you're doing this, where you've got 5 people in the Katzenjammer family and you want one person as a primary contact, when you go to do a mailing of your catalog, you can run this report and it will eliminate all the duplicate family members at that group and only mail to the one that you've indicated as the primary contact with that. Again, most useful for probably personal family type connections in that particular, in your system. Combining names, again, the dilemma, no matter how well we try, you're liable to get duplicate people in the system. And the way you handle that is with that ID number, where you go to the record of the good person, copy the ID, navigate to the duplicate. We say good and evil, good and bad. You navigate to the record that's the duplicate, paste in the good twins ID, and it'll basically prompt you through 2 questions, and it'll automatically combine the name records. And in doing that, it combines interest codes, and it will also combine any courses taken if they were taken under the 2 different name records. Very simple, very